Hello there, it is the 1st of July, also known as the first day of Camp July, and I have spent all week agonizing about what I want to do for it and whether to participate at all. And this morning I asked my boyfriend what he thinks my priorities for this month should be, and I realized that that's kind of a very good question and I really should know the answer to it. So what we're going to be doing this morning on this lovely rainy day, it's not actually raining anymore, but it was about half an hour ago, is going to be figuring it out together. And Anna Robbins actually did a very similar video at the start of this year, which I absolutely adored and wrote down as something to do at the start of next year. But seeing how it's exactly the middle of 2023 and I kinda really need to brainstorm out my life, we are doing it now instead. So in order to figure out what I want to do with my life during the month of July, I kind of need to start by figuring out what I want my priorities to be for the rest of the year, and then we'll kind of work backwards from there. I already feel like this page is going to be too small for what I want to do, but we'll figure it out. We can always scribble on the back if we need to. So the first category I want to work on is what I'm going to call my adult life. And this sort of encompasses all of my responsibilities that I currently have that I can't get rid of, that are kind of important. And the fact that this is what I'm starting with really tells you where my mind has been for the past year and why I've been struggling so much with creativity. There's been quite a lot going on in this particular category in 2023 so far, and I expect that trend to continue for the rest of the year. So unfortunately, this is something that I do have to prioritize, and I say unfortunately, some of these things are things that I am actually very excited about. There are three main things in here. Let's start with the boring one, which is driving, then my current housing situation, and my job. And I don't want to go into too much detail about these because this is a writing channel and I want to get straight into my creative goals, but these things are taking up quite a lot of my time at the minute, so I think it's important to at least mention them. So for driving, I am currently taking driving lessons. I am not enjoying those driving lessons whatsoever. I find them really boring and they take up a lot of energy and time, and it's very frustrating because I feel like I'm not learning fast enough and I'm paying quite a lot of money on these lessons, so I would like to be more efficient at actually learning how to drive. So the one thing that I'm going to write down for this is just be more proactive in learning how to drive. And this includes things like YouTube tutorials and keeping and reading notes. And this is just because I want to speed up the process a little bit. I don't want to rely on just the lessons because I'm not learning fast enough with just the lessons, and I would really like to need as few lessons as possible that I'm actually paying for and spend more time doing the work that I can do without being in a car just by myself. The housing situation is a little bit more up in the air. I don't want to say I'll want to have moved by the end of 2023 because, let's be honest, that's not very realistic at all. We are currently looking into whether to maybe buy a house or rent a house somewhere else. Either way, we would like to move out of this apartment, but if we do buy a house, that's definitely not happening this year, so figure out my housing situation would be a good one. And for my job, which I started at the end of April, the main thing is just going to be to pass my probation, which I still have about 3 months on this to go, so, and continue enjoying it, which, as a surprising turn of events, I am actually really enjoying engineering at the minute. So I was hoping to use some of these colors to mark like my main priorities, but honestly everything I've written down right now are my main priorities, so I guess we mark all of it in colors, or I just don't use colors, or I wait until later to figure it out. Let's go for that one. As for the main reason we are all here on my writing YouTube channel, let's discuss my creativity goals. And of course the main one is going to be writing. What is going on with my writing at the minute? Not a lot, to answer that question, which is very unfortunate. I recently filmed a video called Getting Out of My Writing Hiatus, or something along those lines. I haven't edited it yet. There's a good chance this one will come up before that one. And that was just me going through and reading the entirety of my book again after a 2-month writing break and trying to get back into it. I did get back into it, and then I stopped being back into it. I think last week I actually did write on Tuesday. I didn't write on the weekend before that, and I didn't write the week before that either. So like, I was sort of getting back into it. I've been doing better than I was, but I'm really not writing as much as I would like to be. And I think this is actually part of the reason. I am actually getting quite a lot of job satisfaction at the minute, which is really, really nice, and always feel really accomplished at the end of the day. But I think part of what was driving my writing at my last job is that after work I felt like I hadn't really done anything of any real meaning, so then I used writing as a creative outlet, whereas right now I'm getting a lot of my creative outlet and accomplishment from my day job. And as nice as that is, I would like to also continue writing because it's something that I really enjoy, and I would like to continue doing it. And obviously that's not the only reason. It's also been like very warm and heat wavy, which I always struggle with doing anything in my free time when it is. Plus the fact that it is a completely new job, so I am having to learn a lot of stuff and my brain is busy assimilating all of that information. But I feel like I've hit sort of a rut with the Project Site sequel, which makes me very sad. I started writing it sometime in December, then I stopped in February when I had a small job crisis at my last job. Then I went back to it once I had that figured out, and then I stopped again when I started the new job, and it's just like, it's been so on and off that I feel like I've really lost touch with that story. And I really want to get back into it, but I really feel like I don't know how at this point. So I was kind of hoping doing this would help me figure out how to actually go about this, but I'm not actually sure what to put down here. So let's circle back to it, shall we? Let's talk about YouTube, because those two things are very related for me. And I'm feeling like maybe YouTube is part of the problem at the minute, but also might be part of the solution. I'm not entirely sure. I think one of the things I would like to do is to aim to publish one video per month, which I'm sort of already doing, except I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm attempting to publish 2 videos per month, and I keep feeling like I'm behind and like I am failing at doing the thing. So if I set my goal to 1 video per month, and that's something that I know I can accomplish and it's actually achievable, I feel like that's gonna make it a lot easier on me, and maybe I'll have some creative energy left to do some writing instead of video editing all day. So I think this is going to help. Then on top of that, I would also like to make videos that aren't vlogs occasionally, such as this one. And even though I really enjoy making and watching writing vlogs, I feel like I've been only making writing vlogs lately, and I still love them, but I am getting a little bit tired of them. And I think they always put so much extra pressure on my writing, and my writing's feeling so delicate and like precarious right now that I think not making any writing vlogs for the first little bit as I push myself back into writing and back into falling in love with this project might help. The problem is it is the 1st of July and I really wanted to do a Camp July video, but I think I'm really answering my own question here that I shouldn't be doing that, and I think I already know that I shouldn't be doing that, and that's why it's taken me weeks to decide, because I don't think I should, but I want to. So let's write that down. No Camp July vlog. And instead of constantly making vlogs, I would like to start spending some time making some of the other videos on my idea list that I'm actually really excited about, because it's not like I don't have any ideas for videos that aren't vlogs. It's that I always feel like I'm either not good enough to make them yet, or it's too good of an idea to make now because I don't have enough of an audience that if I make that video right now and it's only watched by like 20 people, it feels like I've wasted that idea on a very small audience. And as a result, I'm just constantly making the same vlog over and over and over again. And I would like to stop doing that. I would like to make videos that are just for me because I enjoy making them. And I would like to work on some of those ideas that I may not quite have the skills to make yet, but I'm not going to get the skills to make them unless I actually start working on those more challenging ideas. And I think reducing the number of vlogs that I make is going to help with that, because at the minute I kind of use the vlogs as an excuse not to work on the other stuff, because I find it very difficult to work on 2 videos at the same time. And then the other side of the coin to this is that I want to stop feeling like everything is content, and when I'm excited to work on a project but I don't have the energy to also make a video about it, I would like to give myself permission to do that. So not feeling the need to film absolutely everything that I do, and working on projects that are just for me and not for public consumption. And I think both of these sort of relate to the same sort of idea, which is having a healthy relationship to YouTube. And I think I've been progressively getting a lot better at this. I recently, and by recently I mean like 4 months ago, deleted the YouTube app off my phone and set the rule that I'm only allowed to check my statistics when I upload a new video, and that's the only time I'm allowed to go on YouTube Studio. And I've been feeling a lot better about stuff since I decided to do that, but I think we can do a lot better still. So circling back to the dreaded writing category that is currently completely empty, I think the first step might just be participating in Camp July without making a vlog, and everything in my brain is resisting against that. Like, if I'm participating anyway, I might as well film it and make it content, but we don't need to do that. There is no need for me to put that pressure on myself. So what I am going to do is I am going to set a Camp July goal, and I'm going to keep it secret. And it's going to be very small and very realistic, and we're just going to focus on enjoying the process of getting back into writing and back into my story without feeling the need to talk about it. So while I think that having a very small and achievable goal for July is going to be the best way forward, I also would like to push myself a little bit more, not in July, but afterwards, and get back into the swing of things with a little bit more energy and a little bit more excitement. And I think to do that, I would like to set the goal of finishing my book in September, ideally in early September. And if you're not aware of this, I'm currently working on the Project Side sequel. I am just over halfway there, and I've been working on it since December last year. It was supposed to be a fast draft, like literally a completely messy draft that I'm going to throw in the bin afterwards and start again. It is very, very rough. There's a lot of stuff missing, and it's embarrassing that I'm only halfway there and it's July. So we are going to say finish Project Side sequel by September 5th. There is a reason for that date, but this video is long enough as it is, so we're not going to go into that. And then the other thing that I think has been possibly holding me back is that I don't know what I'm doing after that date. I have known that I wanted to finish the book by that date for a long time. I am a lot more behind than I wanted to be at this point, but it's fine, we'll manage. But after this, I don't really know what I'm doing, and I have a couple of options. So first option would be going through Project Side Book 1 beta feedback. I've had feedback from some of my friends back since, I think, February, possibly March. I can't actually remember when the last person finished reading it, but I was already in the midst of writing the sequel, so I didn't want to go back to book 1 and get myself confused. But I would really like to go through this at some point, maybe before revising the sequel, so that I can actually implement things to both books and not just finish this, then go through this, and then have to edit this. So as I'm saying this, I'm actually realizing maybe this is what I should be doing after this first draft, but I don't really want to. I don't know. The other option would be jumping straight into Project Side sequel revisions. And this would be accounting for having maybe a 1 month break in between where I don't write at all. I really like the idea of using my breaks in between revisions to do stuff that isn't writing, because I've got so many other things that I'm sure we'll fill this space with in a minute. But so that would be good as well, just like finishing it, waiting for a month and going straight back in with nothing in between. And the third option, if you saw my Make Halos Rain vlog, you will have seen that I started working on a different project, and that is called Project Voice, because brand. And this would be outlining and drafting, I guess. And I don't really know what I would want to do after this, because Project Voice would be kind of a really cool thing to be doing during NaNoWriMo in November, which would mean outlining it beforehand, so like month and a half with like a week in between would be really good. But at the same time, it feels very much like a distraction, and I got very excited last time I was working on this. If you saw my Make Halos Rain vlog, you will have seen that. But I'm kind of worried that if I start working on this a bit more seriously that I'll never get back to Project Side. And I don't want to do that because I really like Project Side. I just happen to be a little bit stuck with it, and maybe what I need is a break from it. So maybe this wouldn't be such a bad choice. And I'm not entirely sure that I'm going to be able to make a decision about these right now. I think getting back into writing in July and just like sort of slowly getting back into it might be a better answer than trying to figure out the entire year right now when I really don't know what I feel like doing. So I'm just going to put this whole thing in here. And the goal is just going to be to find a NaNoWriMo project that excites me. And that's going to be one of these. Actually, there is a fourth option for this. Last year for NaNoWriMo, I decided to do an art project just to be different, and I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really fun. And I have an idea for an art project that would be kind of cool to be doing in November. I'm gonna write that one down as well. It's not technically a writing project, but you know. Okay, so we've got writing, we've got YouTube, and we've got my other creative outlet. I'm starting to see the problem here. We've got too many hobbies. Art. And I think I'm having a similar project with art as I'm having with some of the other categories, and that is that I spend too much of the time that I do art filming it and then subsequently editing it, which takes forever because art takes a really long time to edit. So my first goal is going to be do art that is just for me. But completely contradictory to that, one of the things that I would like to work towards is being able to make my own book cover when I eventually finish one of these projects and want to publish it. So I would like to get to a level where I feel comfortable making art that I can use. And I feel like this is a similar sort of thing as being comfortable making art that I can sell, except I feel like if anything this is harder to do because the art that I'm using is to complement my writing, and I really care about my writing and my books, so I want the art that goes with it to be really good. So this is definitely not something that we are achieving in 2023, but I would like to work towards it. So this is gonna mean a couple of different things. Get better at digital art would be the main one, since this is what I am actually going to be making art that I use for my book stuff in, and that means practice. It also means learn the tools, which is something that I always put off doing because I just want to draw. I don't want to sit there and study how to actually use the different features that might make it easier to make art if I knew them. Study other artists. Then separately from digital art, I would also like to get better at perspective, textures and materials, which I feel like my art is quite flat right now, so being able to make my art feel more painterly. And things like lighting. And on top of just like actually working on my skills and getting better, I would like to do something that's a bit more similar to this, because I think I generally just have a problem with working on things that I actually care about. I always put them off. So I would actually like to spend some time making book art. And this doesn't have to be the final art that I use, but it can just be a little practice round, and maybe it'll turn out better than expected. And this includes things like some of my merch ideas for when I publish the book and do like a pre-order campaign sort of thing. I have like a massive list of different things that I would like to make, including bookmarks, postcards and things like that, and it'd be nice to have a little practice run and making some of those things. Obviously making book covers for my own book, but also different ones for practice. And making some marketing art, such as little comic strips with like my actual book characters and that sort of thing, which I might not actually publish or share with anyone yet because I'm nowhere close to publication, and I would like to keep things at least private until I have a release date in mind, and then I can start talking about what I'm doing in more detail. But I can start practicing, and it's just a little fun thing that I can do for myself and also share with some of my beta readers. Another thing I would like to start doing for this, which might be a bit too ambitious for 2023, but I'm just gonna write it down and see what happens, but I would like to play around with some animation, because I think that's gonna be really, really useful for when I actually get to make marketing reels and like trailers and that sort of thing for my book. It'd be good if I already had the skills to have some stuff lined up, even though we're literally thinking like 5 years in the future here. I'm not publishing anytime soon, but I'm very excited about getting into some of these things. A little bit worried that the art category looks so much bigger than the writing category, but I think that's okay. I think we're taking little baby steps to fall back in love with writing. I think it's already going a lot better. The chapter that I wrote on Tuesday last week, I'm actually really, really proud of, and I think it was really fun to do. And I'm proud of myself for working on it after work. But yeah, there is actually quite a lot on here, so I would like to go through and prioritize things a little bit better. And I am going to be using orange for things that I would like to do in July, so like my immediate right now priorities. Light orange is going to be anything that's happening in Q3, and then we're going to be using this light sort of yellow orange, which is brighter than the other one and also kind of looks very similar. I'm not going to be able to tell this apart, am I? Okay, fine. No one said this had to be neat. We're gonna use yellow for things that are happening in Q4. And then things that I don't mark as sort of like maybe in the future, or maybe they'll happen next year, or if I get to them, if I have spare time and that sort of thing. But they're not important right now, they're just things to keep in mind. So the most obvious one is obviously going to be participate in Camp July and set achievable goals. And then in Q3, so by September, we are going to want to finish the sequel. And I guess NaNoWriMo is technically Q4, so we're doing this as well. And I think writing is going to be a strong focus in July and Q3, so I'm going to underline it in orange. As for YouTube, technically these are ongoing things that I want to work on throughout the year, but some of the things that I would like to work on, maybe not necessarily in July, because I do want to prioritize writing right now, but in Q3, are making videos that I'm excited about. And I guess what we're doing in July is not feeling the need to film everything, because I will be not filming my July vlog. And the rest of these are just ongoing, so I'm not going to color them, and I think YouTube is going to be a relatively low priority for me for the rest of the year, so I'm gonna mark it in yellow. As for art, I think I'm not gonna mark anything as being a task for July, because I do genuinely want to prioritize writing right now. But for Q3, I would like to get better at digital art, which includes practicing, learning the tools, and studying other artists. I would like to spend Q4 working on, I think perspective is gonna be an important one, and lighting. Textures and materials might be a job for 2024, but we'll see. And I would like to work on some of this. I think working on one of my merch ideas in Q3 would be a fun little project. And hopefully it won't take too much, like just doing a bookmark or some stickers or something like that. And then in Q4, I would like to work on book covers for practice. And then we'll leave the rest for next year, I think. As for my adult life, arriving is going to be 1/4 July. My probation actually ends in Q3, so we're gonna mark that in light orange. That's gonna be an ongoing one for the year, and figure out my housing situation. This might be a little bit ambitious, but let's go with Q3. At least like figuring out the plan. And I forgot to underline anything else, so let's go for light orange for art and dark orange for adult life. I am actually really glad that I did this. I feel very calm and sort of like on top of things. It is the 1st of July right now, so I am going to go straight ahead and start working on this one. And then I've got 6 months to work through the rest of the stuff. And I'm excited for what the rest of the year is going to look like for me. If you enjoyed this video, absolutely make sure you check out Anna's version of this, because that was really, really good. And honestly, this is such a fun tool for brainstorming goals. I absolutely will be doing this again. And since I am apparently only doing 1 video per month now, I will see you next month. I hope that you have a wonderful July, and see you soon. Bye bye.